Hi, this is Olga from hbuddy.com. In this video I will show you different types of straight stitches on modern sewing machines. Whether you are a new or experienced sewist, you are familiar with the straight stitch. It's one of the most basic types of stitches on a sewing machine, and every sewing machine offers it. If you sew on a newer computerized machine, you have an abundance of straight stitches from which to choose. Why? Each stitch gives you greater control over how your project turns out. First, let me show you these very interesting straight stitches. I doubt you have seen them before. This one is diagonally left going up, this one reverse straight, this one diagonally right going up, this one sideways to left, this one sideways to right. And while you are here, I invite you to subscribe to my YouTube channel, hbuddy Sewing Tutorials. This channel is updated weekly with free sewing projects and tutorials. Well, and now see how my machine is going diagonally and sideways. Why would we use these straight stitches? Well, they are created for attaching appliques or pockets on tubular pieces of fabric and should be used with free arm. And see how fast it's sewing in reverse. And this is the result. Other types of straight stitches on my brother machine. This is straight stitch left, straight stitch with the needle in the middle, decorative straight stitch, basting stitch. Basting stitch usually has a length of 5 mm and very low tension, 0 or 1 in this case. Let me show you the basting stitch. These stitches are longer in length and not intended to hold seams together permanently. The thread can be easily taken out. And this straight stitch is made look like hand sewing stitch. There are a number of special piecing stitches on this machine. Piecing stitch right. Just align the edge of the fabric with the edge of the presser foot and start sewing. You will get perfect 1/4 inch seam allowances with these settings. I also like to use this button for straight stitches. When you press it, it will add an invisible locking stitch at the beginning of the seam and the same at the end when you press this button. It makes actual knots in your thread. Now let me show you my other sewing machine, Janome. The machine also has a great variety of straight stitches. This stitch, number 2, shifts the position of the needle to the left. I can increase the stitch length. Number 3 is a straight stitch with a back stitch. It places a short row of reverse stitching at the beginning and end of the seam. Back stitch is functional and it will keep your stitches from unraveling. And this is my favorite type of straight stitches. This is a true lock stitch and it's popular among machine quilters because it eliminates the need to backstitch. It's adding an invisible locking stitch at the beginning of the seam and the same at the end. We can see these small knots on the wrong side of fabric. And now let me show you other types of straight stitches on my Janome machine that allow me to sew decorative outlines and create the look of handmade details when top stitching. They have different numbers and even different names. This one called sculpture stitch. This is called saddle stitch. And this one is called triple straight stitch. It's used for stretch fabric and adds elasticity and strength to the seam. Useful for sewing knits and making armholes and reinforcing the crotch of the garment. This is only a small sample of what a computerized machine may be able to do with a basic straight stitch. And every machine retailer may have different names for each straight stitch. For best results, read through your manual to help you better understand how each straight stitch is used and how it can help you produce great results. Now let me show you something else you might not be aware of. Do you know that there are a special straight stitch needle plate and a special straight stitch presser foot? This is the straight stitch needle plate. See how small is the hole in the middle of the plate. It's used with straight stitches. Using the needle plate in combination with the straight stitch presser foot works well on especially thin fabrics and especially small pieces. They reduce puckering in the seam, and the design of the foot supports the fabric as it's carried past the needle. Knitted seams make for prettier finished projects and stronger, more durable apparel. And this is the straight stitch presser foot. So now is a good time to take a look at your sewing machine and your manual to see what type of straight stitches it offers, and let me know in the comments what you find and if this tutorial was helpful. Thank you so much for joining me on this sewing tutorial, and once again I invite you to subscribe and take a look around at some of the other tutorials on my channel that might be useful to you. Please share this video and get it a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. And I will see you again next week. Happy sewing!